Hi, my name is Miss Sapko and I am going to be your child's second grade teacher this year. I am from Forest City, Iowa, and I graduated from Dakota State University in Madison, South Dakota. I am very excited to start this upcoming school year with you and your children. But before we start this school year, I wanted to go over some important information regarding your child's math education. The first thing I want to inform you of is the major concepts we will be covering in math this year. The first concept is understanding base 10 notion. This means that your child will be learning the idea of counting in fives, tens, and multiples of hundreds, tens, and ones. They will learn to recognize that the digits in each place represent amounts of thousands, hundreds, tens, or ones. For example, in the picture above, it shows the place values for the number 1,247. The next concept is building fluency with addition and subtraction. Students will be able to calculate addition and subtraction numbers within 1,000 and be able to show their understanding of place value. We will also be working on mental math, so students will be able to mentally calculate addition and subtraction problems. Next is using standard units of measure. Students will learn how to use rulers and other measurement tools to understand centimeters and inches and other units. The last big concept we will be covering is describing and analyzing shapes. Students will learn to identify shapes by looking at their sides and angles, and are able to combine shapes to make new shapes. This will build the foundation for understanding area, volume, and other things like that in the later grades. One of my goals this year in math is to get students to learn beyond the procedures. I want my students to make connections and understand why they are doing what they are doing. Although procedures and algorithms will still be taught in my classroom, I will make it a priority to teach the students the reasoning behind the algorithms. One way I'm going to accomplish this is by using math manipulatives, such as base 10 blocks, like in the picture above. Base 10 blocks are a math manipulative used by students to learn how to count, learn number sense, place value, addition, and subtraction. We will use these blocks to practice all of these things, as well as to use them to express numbers and patterns. Another method I am going to use to get my students to make a deeper connection with math is by using interesting and real-world situations. I want to connect math to things my students like and things they are interested in. One way I can do this is by using 3-act math, which is giving students questions like this. How many cookies will fit on the cookie sheet? Students will need to think about the size of the pan, the size of the cookies, how far apart they need to be, and questions like that. I believe this is a good way to get students to do math problems that would be more enjoyable for them. The reason we are not going to be hammering the procedures is because if we do, the students may never develop conceptual understanding, meaning that they may not understand how and why this stuff works. The goal is to get the students to build a deeper understanding of math. To get the students started, every day I will provide the students with a problem of the day. It will be displayed in the front of the room when they come back inside from recess. They will know that the first thing they do when they come in is to sit down and get started on the problem. After I give the students a couple of minutes to solve the problem by themselves, we will go over the problem as a class. A cool place that I can get math problems for this activity would be from estimation180.com. This website has hundreds of fun and interesting estimation problems such as this one. Students would have to estimate how tall they think the man in the photo is, and then I will ask them more questions about it. When students are doing problems like this, as well as any other time the students are working on math, I will not only ask the students what they got for an answer, but I will also ask them how they got the answer. A big thing in my classroom will be math talk. Math talk means what it sounds like, talking about math. I want to get my students to explain and justify their answers, either verbally or in writing. This is such an important strategy for me to implement in my classroom because it helps students to gain that deeper understanding of math that they need in order to be successful. In addition to direct instruction from myself, we will also be using the math program called Khan Academy. It is a self-paced program that helps students to master math concepts and provides data for me on how each student is doing. This is a great way for students who may be struggling to master the skills at their own pace without getting behind. It is also great for students who may be advanced and need more of a challenge because then they are able to move on to more complex concepts. It is also aligned with Common Core, which is the next thing I will be talking about. The Common Core state standards were developed to create high standards that are consistent across states and to provide teachers, parents, and students with a set clear of expectations. These standards were developed by teachers and curriculum specialists, but they were not created by the federal government. But the federal government does provide incentives or money to schools who adopt the standards. The standards do not tell me, as the classroom teacher, how to teach. They simply tell me what I need to teach, and then I am responsible for passing on the information to my students in the way I see best. As far as assessments go, there will be a lot of informal assessment in my classroom. This means that I will not be giving out a lot of tests and quizzes, but I will be learning about what the students know by having class discussions and observing the students while they work. The students will occasionally receive homework. This is for their benefit as well as mine. This will help them to practice the skills they need to master, and it will also help me to learn more about the child as a student and how well they are understanding the concepts and what more we need to work on during class. Before I finish, does anyone have any questions for me at this time? That's a good question. She asked, will you be using technology? And the answer to that is yes. There are many ways we can use technology in our math classroom. Like I said before, we will be using Khan Academy, an online resource, frequently during the school year. We will also be using our classroom iPads. I love using the iPads because there are so many fun and educational math apps out there. Here are a couple of my favorites that the students will be exploring throughout the year. Motion Math Pizza, Math Doodles, and Pick a Path. All of these apps are made for students to work on their math skills while having fun at the same time. Are there any other questions? That is also a good question. The question was, do they get to use calculators? So since your child is in second grade, they are still working on learning some of the basics of math, and because of this, there will not be a lot of calculator use in my classroom. The only time I will allow the students to use calculators would be on some word problems that they are solving. Finally, I want to thank you all for taking the time to come out and learn more about your child's math education. Here are some things I want you to remember. There are many concepts that we are going to be working on throughout the school year. Some of these will be procedures, but a lot of it will be about making sure the students understand what they are doing. I want the students to be involved in interesting and real-world math so that they can make connections. Technology will play a huge role in our classroom, as well as Math Talk. Thank you again, and please do not hesitate to contact me if you ever have any questions or concerns. Have a great day.